Hey guys, Jesse Miller again, and I wanted to thank you so much for watching this course. I hope it was a blessing to you. I hope you're able to use the ideas and the tips and the tricks and immediately improve things in worship at your church. And maybe for some of you it was a refresher course. Maybe for some of you it was a crash course through how to lead worship at a church, because maybe you never had any formal training. And so I really pray that this ministered to you, that it blessed you, and that it will help you. And so, this was born out of 25 years of me leading worship. And I gave the course away for free. But here's my big ask with a K. I want to ask if you would consider a couple things. Number one, if you saw any value in this course, if you saw any value in the things that were taught, I would ask if you would consider having me come and do a worship weekend, a Friday and a Saturday, to where we would do a deep dive and discuss these topics, go into some different things as far as how to lead worship, but not just how to lead, but take a look at your current team and see how we could tweak some things to increase your worship time. And if you don't want to do that, number two, maybe your worship is doing awesome and you just want a little refresher. I ask that you would consider having me come and speak at your church on a Sunday or a Wednesday. Look, we can talk about all the details. I have some info on my website at jessedmiller.com that you can look at, but that's another possibility. Another thing is we could book a deep dive consult via a video conferencing platform. And so maybe you don't have the money to bring in a speaker for a weekend, but you have a budget where we'd be able to do a 4-week consult, and where you would take all the things that we talked about over the course of this time we've been together and see how we could best implement it in your church. Sometimes an outside eye, an outside ear can help and bring value to you. So I hope that's the case. So that's what I'm asking. Now, I also am developing more courses coming up. I have a course on the 4 pillars of a successful worship team: presence, purpose, practice, and presentation. Those 4 things are the 4 pillars. And so I'm going to be doing a course on that. Upcoming courses, I do have a fee. They cost money, but this course I wanted to give away for free. Another course that I'm doing is based on my first book that I wrote called Red Letter Ministry, which is about doing ministry in our church today based on the red letters of Jesus. So when you see red letters in your Bible, the things that Jesus taught and his style of ministry, how he ministered to certain groups of people, like the disciple, the sinner, the saint, the sick, the young, and then how he was able to reach out and talk about different topics. And then lastly, the groups that he ministered to, the multitude, and then the 12 and the 3 and the 1. And so that book has a lot of really good information. We're going to basically take that book and do a deep dive teaching on each of the topics that are covered in that book. Another book I wrote is called Worship Crisis, and this is a book that will minister to anybody in your congregation. So Red Letter Ministry and Worship Crisis are available on Amazon.com. Just type in the names and maybe my name, Jesse Miller or Jesse D. Miller, and they'll pop right up. And so you could support the ministry that I'm doing here by buying those books. Maybe you want to give them to your congregation if they really bless you. If that's the case, you can contact me. All the contact info is going to be on your screen. And it's also available at our website at jessedmiller.com. And so those are a couple ways we can do it. How can we be the church? How can we mobilize a community of people that are worshiping, active, engaged members of our church and our church body? Also, if you have a conference and you would like to book me as a conference speaker. I'm available. I do have some dates available this year in the year 2020. And you can always contact me and we can look at the calendar and see what dates are available. So I hope this blessed you. I'm so thankful for you. You were in this together. And, I'm starting a Facebook group called Worship Leaders Unite. And so that's another way that we can get connected. And so I'm going to have the main page, Worship Leaders Unite, and then I'm going to have a group, and I'd like you to join that group. It's available. It's an open group, and that's a forum where really the only thing that I require is that somebody be either, on a worship team. They could be a youth pastor, worship pastor, senior pastor. They could be in any group in a church, but they have to be an active part of a church to be able to join the Worship Leaders Unite group. So I'm not opening it up to everyone. There's just a small little thing to join, and that way we can keep it as a group focused on one thing, right? Because, hey, if you were like me, then maybe you were a youth pastor and a worship leader. I did that for a number of years, so I have a lot of experience with both. But I don't want to limit it just to worship leaders only. I think it's a thing where we can all talk about how can we do worship in small groups? How can we do worship in a youth group setting? How can we do worship with the older people in our congregation? So it's going to be a great discussion, and we can all be a part of it. And we can really talk about how can we impact our church the best way. And so thanks so much for watching. God bless. And I look forward to hearing the great praise reports that I get from people who take this program and implement it in their churches. We'll see you later.